And welcome back, COSA 25 folks. Professor Almeida here to welcome you to your first week in COSA 25 Microsoft Access for Windows. Now, if you've never worked with a database program before, such as Microsoft Access, you'll find it to be quite interesting. As a matter of fact, it's very different from what you're used to in other Microsoft Office programs, such as Word and Excel. So, why do we use Access? Well, let's say that you run a book publishing company, right? And you've hired some book reps to go out to different college campuses to sell your product. Maybe you have a list of those reps stored in a Word doc, right? And you have data about your book reps, such as their hiring dates, their contact information. Maybe you have that spread out in different Excel spreadsheets. And then you have your clients, right? Maybe you have a list of your clients in another Word doc, and then other things about your clients, such as how much they've purchased from you, how much they owe you, refunds, all of that. Let's say that's in another Excel spreadsheet somewhere. What if you can combine all of that into one place and then be able to ask questions such as which book rep has these clients, right? So you can do that in Microsoft Access. As a matter of fact, you'll learn about it later on when we get to queries. So with that said, welcome aboard, folks. Hopefully you've had a chance to watch the Canvas orientation video, but if you haven't yet, don't sweat it. I'll take you through the important things you need to know to get started in your first week. Now, I'm not sure how long this video is going to run, so if you need to hit that pause button at any time, feel free to do so. Okay, with that said, this is our Canvas class site. Again, my name is Professor Almeida. My virtual office hours this semester are Fridays 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and then 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific time. I typically hang out in the live chat during my office hours, and this is your chance to connect with me with all things COSA 25. So if you have questions, feel free to come into the live chat during my office hours. If you want to message me privately, you can also do that through Canvas Conversations. Okay, here's what it looks like. It's called the inbox. I tend to respond to messages quicker during my office hours. Otherwise, please allow me a 24-hour turnaround outside of office hours. One important thing to note with this class, it is asynchronous. So in other words, there are no scheduled class meetings. We don't meet over Zoom or in person. Everything's done online. You show up in Canvas and complete the weekly assignments. Now, it's very important that you make an effort to log into Canvas regularly because I'm not always going to be here to remind you about participating or turning in your work on time. So with an asynchronous environment, it's especially important that you are focused and disciplined enough to come to class. Okay. Now, this is a 12-week class, and usually with 12-week sections, they are faster paced. But as you will see, this class is laid out in a way that you can reasonably complete the weekly assignments provided that you show up to class in Canvas. Okay, here's a link to that Canvas orientation video in case you missed it. And then we have things to do before you begin. And we have this bulleted list here. First and foremost, make sure that you download and read the syllabus. So you can click on the link to grab a copy of the syllabus. Here's what it looks like. Okay, it's very important that you go through the syllabus and reference it throughout the semester. It contains important information about the course, campus resources, the class decorum, how the assignments work, grading and other policies, and most importantly, due dates and deadlines. As a matter of fact, I want you to take these dates you see here and plug them into your personal calendar. As a matter of fact, that's the second item on the list. You'll also notice that Canvas modules open 2 weeks at a time, and normally the 2 weeks are due together as a block. So for example, with weeks 3 and 4, they are due on October 24th, and then 5 and 6, they're due on November 7th. Now with weeks 1 and 2, you do have one assignment due this week as a participation requirement. We'll get to that shortly, okay? And then the rest of the assignments, or in this case with the guided project, that's due the following week along with your other projects. So again, make sure that you have the due dates down in your personal calendar. Once you've done that, it's time to register with Simnet. Here's the page concerning all things with Simnet. To get started, you just follow this link right here in Canvas, McGraw-Hill Simnet, and register with a new account. If you used Simnet before, you can just log in and then make sure you have your access card. Speaking of access cards, they can be purchased at the LBCC bookstore. The access cards contain a code you will need to fully unlock Simnet. Now, I know you're probably going to have questions about getting access codes from elsewhere, including McGraw-Hill themselves. That's on you to do your own research, if you know what I mean. As always, anything outside of the bookstore is at your own risk. Okay, so please don't ask me questions about getting access codes from anywhere other than the bookstore. So you'll need to do your own research and make your own decisions. Okay, again, if you know what I mean. I've also included some basic videos on how to get through the Simnet activities. You can see a video here on how to do the sim books. These are the training sims in Simnet. Basic video on how to get through Simnet projects. You'll see some walkthrough videos in the first 2 or 3 weeks. Okay, so be on the lookout for those. And then finally, how to install Microsoft Office 365. Now, for some reason, if you can't install Microsoft 365, probably because you're on a work machine, or maybe for some reason you just can't get it to install, you can use the Citrix Student Labs in your Viking portal as an alternative. Okay, so do check out that video on how to use Citrix. Okay, we are now ready to take a look at the weekly modules. So you can follow this link here, or you can go back to the top and click on modules. Here's what it looks like. Okay, this is our first week, and you'll see that you're starting off pretty light, right? There is an overview page for you to take a look at. And then here is the sim book for chapter 1. Now, we don't have printed textbooks, so all of the reading is actually done through the sim book here. Okay, so here's how to get started. You have a progress meter. In this case, we have 20 tasks. And anywhere you see tasks like this is what you're responsible for. Okay. If you prefer to read, you could just open up the sim book, and this is what it looks like. Okay, so you just go through and you read through the chapter, and then you'll come across your simulation tasks like this one here. Okay, to get credit, you do the let me try, and if you're not sure how to do certain things, you can just start with show me and guide me. Okay, so let me open up let me try real quick. Here's what the simulation looks like. And in this case, set the navigate to category to tables and related views. And just like that, we're not done yet. Change the filter by setting to all tables. Okay, so basically you go through this and then you get your credit. And as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and change that filter to all tables. And now you have your first set of points. Okay, there's the check mark. And let me show you real quick. Okay, so again, if you need that pause button, it's there. And there you go. Task 1 of 20 completed, just like that. Okay, so that is the sim book. As a matter of fact, this sim book for chapter 1 is due in your first week as a participation requirement. What that means is I want to make sure that you are able to access the assignments in Simnet. If you don't turn this in by the end of the first week, I'm going to assume that you're no longer interested in the class and you will lose your spot. We don't want that to happen, so make sure that you take the time this week to get settled in, register with Simnet, and be able to complete that training sim. Okay. Now, the guided project. Okay, once you've done your sim book, you can then go through the guided project. I've included a walkthrough on how to do it. And it should be pretty straightforward, right? Because they actually give you hints on how to complete certain tasks. You'll need these hints to do the independent projects later on. So as you can see here, we're pretty much following a pattern, right? You have a sim book, a guided project, and an independent project. As a matter of fact, I've done another walkthrough for week 3, okay? Hopefully you get the hang of it, and then you're able to do it on your own. So again, you can see there's a sim book, a guided project, and an independent project, and that will be the case for the first few weeks. One last thing, I want to talk about support. You already know about the live chat. I want to show you the Open Collab forum. Okay, this is another way for you to ask questions, talk amongst yourselves, develop strategies. I know that some students like to use other back channels such as Discord. You know, that's perfectly fine too. We also have Cranium Cafe. Okay, this is a way for you to connect with our COS instructional assistants if you need to get help. And as you can see here, Renee is online, and you just knock on the door and he'll work with you. Okay, so that's how to use Cranium Cafe. Anyway, folks, welcome aboard to COSA 25. I look forward to working with you all throughout these next 12 weeks. Good luck on the first week. Make sure you get settled in, and we'll talk again soon in other videos. Thanks for watching, and take care.